Good evening, everybody. Brian Neubert here from goldenblack.com. Down here on the floor this time, tonight in Mackey Arena. This time following Purdue's season-opening 98-45 win over Samford. This is your first official rap video of the season. The others don't count in the standings. So I'm going to leave it to you, and I'm going to ask you to decide when this is all over with whether this goes down as a win or a loss. You can post on our message board your thoughts. Anyway, thank you to the Purdue Club Hotel for your promotional support. We appreciate it as always. Diving right into it here. The biggest thing here, obviously Purdue wins 98-45, so the granular stuff, maybe doesn't matter as much in this game because it was over by the second media timeout, if not the first. The biggest thing that jumps out here is, Purdue's approach. Purdue played with a very distinct edge, with a very distinct focus. They executed well. They competed well. They played hard. I thought early on in the game, Samford was maybe sensing some vulnerability in Purdue and really trying to come at their heads, and Purdue wasn't shaken, nor should Purdue have been shaken. But I think, Fairleigh Dickinson last year has given some of these smaller schools a license to really have some undue confidence when they come in here against Purdue and things like that. And I thought Samford might have, things got a little chippy there, and I thought Samford was trying to kind of take it to Purdue a little bit, and Purdue should not have flinched, but Purdue didn't flinch, and that's one thing that kind of jumps out a little bit. But Purdue was really, really sharp. They executed really well. They took care of the basketball really early, and they, of course, acclimated to a lot of different defenses. They course corrected against a lot of different defenses, and most importantly, they made shots. I've said since last March that 9 times out of 10, when you just say, if they'd only made more shots, that is oversimplification of complex issues. But in Purdue's case, it legitimately boils down to that. It is not oversimplification. It is the deal. It is, in my mind, my feeble mind, the single biggest key to Purdue's ultimate outcome this season. They just have to make more threes. They just have to be more consistent doing it. They have to make early ones, and they just got to be better around Ross-Ade. They got to give him more help. They got to put more pressure on defenses than they did last year, than allowing them to just gang guard Ross-Ade, daring people to make threes, and then opening yourself up to 5 of 26, whatever it was, in the NCAA tournament last year. Purdue goes 16 of 29 in this game. Obviously impeccable, but making shots November 6th against Samford is very different from making shots in the Sweet 16 against Duke in a couple months. But, Purdue could have come out here and thrown them over their head from half court, made them. They could have made every three they took. None of it really would have guaranteed them anything. But what's significant here, to me anyway, is that Purdue validated themselves as capable. They showed you that what they were saying all last year about having guys on this team who can shoot, who just weren't shooting well, that wasn't crap. That wasn't a line of goods. They were a bill of goods they were selling you, whatever the term is. Line of goods sounds fine to me, whatever. That was the reality, because you don't go 16 to 29 from three against anybody if you can't shoot. And Purdue obviously can shoot. They were consistent. They were roughly the same percentage between the first and second half. The second half was largely pickup ball time, noon ball time, but nevertheless, the percentages were, there was no turbulence between, okay, we're going to miss 13 in a row like they did against Grace College last week, and then we're going to make 5 of 12 or whatever it is. Consistency, Purdue made the early ones. Again, I'll say this over and over and over again all season. You make a couple shots in the first 5 minutes of the game, you dictate the terms of play there on out. People are going to gang tackle Ross-Ade again all season long. And when you don't make the early ones, it gives them license to just keep doing it. And until you knock them out of it, or you give them at least a reason to think twice, they're going to keep doing it, and all of a sudden having the best player in the country isn't quite as valuable as it should be, because he can't produce at the level he would produce if he only had 2 people guarding him instead of 4. Those early threes are really, really important. Purdue had opportunities left and right last season to just blow the game wide open in the first few minutes of games, and never could really do it. And tonight, for whatever it was worth, Fletcher Lawyer makes a couple early threes. Braden Smith goes 4-4 in the first half. Really, really broke this game open before it was even a game. And that was obviously something that was really important and will be important every time out from here on out. It's not like, Purdue just guaranteed itself that it's going to shoot 58% from 3 every single game. But the important part is experiencing success, building confidence, building on that confidence. What did I just say? Yeah, building confidence, building on that confidence. Those are 2 different things. Just want to make sure I didn't say the same thing back to back. Mid-season form here, as you can tell clearly. But also, you put this stuff on tape, okay? Xavier watches film of this game, and they're like, damn, that team can shoot. Maybe we ought to not, put our whole team on Ross-Ade. So maybe they don't. And everything opens up then. Maybe they do, and Purdue has to do it again. That's probably the likelier scenario. But when you give opponents opportunities to second guess themselves, to have to prepare for a lot of different stuff, you make their scouting reports more and more complex, and you give them every opportunity to just screw it up, because the more players have to process, the more assignments they have to process. Young people are not infallible. They are, in fact, fallible, as is the beauty of college sports. Mistakes everywhere. It's like minor league baseball at a low level. You never know what you're going to get. The more opportunities you give your opponents to screw up, the better you're probably going to be, because the more they probably are going to. And that goes both ways. That's people doing that to Purdue too. But I don't know how I got off on this random tangent about making opponents make mistakes. Anyway, the more threes you make, the better. Hot take. Couple of, the hell does that say? Can anyone read that third bullet point? I can't. My handwriting is a complete disaster. Shendots? Standouts. Looked like Shendots. I don't know what a Shendot is. I think obviously Braden Smith is transforming this team. It's so simple. It's just he's looking to score, and he's putting pressure on people who would have last year overloaded on Ross-Ade out of ball screens, out of whatever. And it's just changing everything for this team. It is providing Purdue offensive balance. It is stretching defenses really thin, and it will continue to stretch defenses really thin as people prepare for it, but also as Purdue starts countering off of it. I think that this is transformational for Purdue. Braden Smith is about to go from one level to another, and it's going to be a really high level, and it's going to happen very quickly, and you're already seeing it. 2 exhibition games, you saw it. This first game, you saw it. He's not going to shoot 60-something% from 3 all season long, but that's basically his clip right now, and he's taking bold shots. He's being aggressive. He's setting an aggressive tone for Purdue. He's setting a competitive tone for Purdue. He's going to make Ross-Ade even better because of this. He's going to take a lot of pressure off Ross-Ade. Just a really, really big-time development for Purdue here through 1 game that counts and 2 that did not. Fletcher Lawyer also. People are probably forgetting. I'll keep saying this. You have no idea how hard it is. I don't have any idea how hard it is because I've never done it. To average 12 points a game and be the second leading scorer as a true freshman on an elite team, as Fletcher Lawyer was last season, as skinny true freshman Fletcher Lawyer was last season. He does not get enough credit, in my opinion, for how good he was as a freshman. I thought he was really good at Arkansas. I know everybody wants to see him shoot a much higher percentage from three this season. He wants to shoot a much higher percentage from three. I think he will. But I think he's going to be really, really good for Purdue this season. He was really, really good last season. The combination of him and Braden Smith is just going to be something that I think is going to be really fun for Purdue partisans to watch, and something that partisans, that's right. I don't know why I can't just use the word fans. I just have to overcomplicate everything. I think those two are going to really make Purdue a different team this year than last. Experience is a big deal, and that's why I keep saying, for as disappointing as the end of last season was for Purdue, as surreal as the months that led up to it were in terms of Purdue's success, that was not Purdue's shot, because they had no experience in the backcourt. This is Purdue's shot, because you have two guards now who have played a ton of basketball, who are going to make that year one, year two jump and just make Purdue a much, much better team. Much is an overstatement when Purdue won 29 games and was a number one seed and unified the Big Ten championship belt last year. But you know what I mean. The margins for Purdue to improve are this, like kids in the hall. And Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer's improvement accounts for like this. The rest is probably shooting, continuity, young players, things like that. But just wanted to mention those two guys as standouts. Cam Heide, Miles Colvin. I'm trying not to just read what I wrote underneath this video where it's going to appear. Cam Heide was just really good tonight. The thing for young players is just fit in. Just find your niche. Find the little things you can do to help a really good team win. And don't try to do too much. And Cam Heide embodied that to the fullest extent tonight. Did everything right. Made all the right decisions. Rebounds, defends, makes open shots, takes his opportunities when they come to him. Going to be a low-volume, high-impact player potentially. Just can't say enough about what he did tonight. Something to like about this mix for Purdue is that I think Camden Heide and Miles Colvin can be two very different guys, because Miles Colvin gives you that bucket getter off the bench, assuming he's coming off the bench. Instant offense type of guy. You can run stuff, you can get him shots. He will not waver if he misses a shot. His confidence is going to be fine all season long. Presumably, there's some Jaden Ivey there in terms of his mentality, in terms of him just kind of being unflappable and just seeing nothing but the rim all the time. And that's a good thing for a team that needs other ways to score other than Zach Edey. This team was too one-dimensional last season. It was too top-heavy last season, and all the stuff I just talked about, Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, having a guy like a Miles Colvin come off the bench with minimal pressure on him to be the best player on his team, whatever it might be, really positive situation for Purdue. He's going to get better and better as he settles in, as he continues to learn what he's doing. This is the highest level of basketball he's ever played at, obviously, as it is for all newcomers. But it's not even close in his case. This is the most intricate coaching he's ever gotten. His head, justifiably, understandably, has probably spun more than once in the last couple months. As soon as it slows down for him, I think that he's going to be really good. And, Purdue's going to run. I bet Purdue runs stuff for him at times this season when he comes in. Go get him an open three, something like that. Go get him downhill, going to the basket, whatever it might be. But he's going to be a really valuable addition to this team. Everyone played well tonight. So when I break down standouts, I'm not going to go down all the way down the list. And I'm not going to sit here and talk about what Brian Waddell did in his 9 minutes of action, because I thought he was fine. I thought everybody was good. Everybody. I thought Ethan Morton was really good. I thought, he doesn't count as everybody. So everybody, all of the players who played, all of the players who are going to play this season who played tonight, they're all good. Obviously, some had more opportunities than others. Purdue's got to figure out this mix of the four. They played everybody today, equal minutes. It might be a hot hand type of situation, matchup situation. But Will Berg got some run, continues to look like a real prospect. This thing's petering out on me here. So The last point I was going to make was the old typical November fool's gold point. I actually can read that in my notes, is that obviously, the quality competition, the situation some of these low and mid majors are going to be in after they lose all their best players to the portal and then have to bring in other people's best players at a much lower level from the portal. Games are going to go like this periodically. What you do not really buy stock in is this is how Purdue's going to win all its games. They're going to have tough games, maybe against mid-majors even at some point this season. There's not many of them on the schedule, but don't beat your chest. Purdue shouldn't be beating its chest over. You can beat your chest if you want. Just don't hurt yourself. Purdue obviously should not be beating its chest over beating Samford by 50 points because this was an unfair fight. Kudos to Samford for sending the 5'7" kid out for the tip. Kudos to Samford for not taking themselves too seriously. Kudos to Samford for doing something fun and noteworthy for its program to get a little bit of branding punch, to get a little bit of viral appeal. It's important at this level. It's important at a lot of levels, but it's important at their level. And I thought that was really cool that they actually did that. I'm talking about the jump ball now. So, look, I'm done. Purdue wins 98-45 over Samford. Thank you once again to the Purdue Union Club Hotel for your support. As always, I will talk to you guys again on Friday night, I think. I don't know who Purdue plays. I'll look at the schedule later. I literally have no idea. Thank you for watching. Thank you for reading. Thank you for listening. And thank you for processing our materials, however it is you process our materials. And I will talk to you again this weekend. As I already said,